Hello, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Clear Walls. This time we're going on an in-depth look on clown loaches and what makes them unique. The clown loach, Chromobotia macracantha, the sole member of its genus. Clown loaches are medium-sized fishes of the southern Asian family Botiidae, the Botia loaches. The most well-known fish in Botiidae, the clown loach is readily distinguished from other members of its family by its size and coloration. One could even argue that the clown loach is the most well-known loach of all. What does Botia mean? We don't know. If loaches could hold an election to determine which species best represents the group, the clown loach would be the leading choice. Although other loaches may be more physically and evolutionarily specialized, being big and orange has won the clown loach many fans within the aquarium hobby. The fairly generalized nature of the species means that much of the stuff covered in the following sections applies to other Botia loaches. Many loaches, Cobitidae in general, are characterized by cryptic coloration. Imagine varying shades of brown and green distributed in diverse patterns. Since loaches are largely nocturnal or crepuscular benthic fishes, this allows them to more easily escape detection from the myriad predators of their home waters. The clown loach is a modification of this rule. With a striking pattern of 3 wide vertical black stripes on an orange-green background, plus scarlet fins, Chromobotia macracantha stands out amongst its relatives. The stripes help break up their outline when hiding amongst plants and debris, much like a tiger's. In fact, stripes are a very common pattern in Botia loaches, but the other Botia loaches usually aren't brightly colored. Loaches also tend to be relatively smallish fishes, usually reaching a maximum size of 4 inches or 10 centimeters or less. Clown loaches can reach over 12 inches or 30 centimeters in the wild. Obviously, a larger body size offers a degree of predatory protection smaller fishes don't receive. But clown loaches apparently have a fairly slow growth rate, so it's only the unusually lucky loaches that live to grow large. Chromobotia macracantha is also one of 3 Botia loaches found in Indonesia according to FishBase, so its large potential size could represent a case of islandish gigantism. In case you didn't know, isolated organisms tend to grow larger since there's a lack of competition. Borneo and Sumatra are fairly large islands that probably split apart from the rest of Sundaland around 2.6 million years ago. This is probably the southernmost range of Botia loaches, as the group does not cross Wallace's line. The clown loach's ancestor likely got trapped in the 2 larger Indonesian islands as sea levels rose and the fish grew larger to exploit its niche. One of the most distinctive features that characterizes Botiidae is a small erectile spine located directly under the eye that works like a switchblade. It's also alluded to in the clown loach's specific name, macracantha, meaning large thorn. This spine can be erected in self-defense or territorial display amongst conpacifics. The spine is derived from the lateral ethmoid bone and has a slightly curved shape with 2 forks in the clown loach. A subocular spine is also observed in Cobitidae or true loaches and Serpenticobitidae or serpent loaches, but these fishes are in sister groups of Botia loaches. This implies that subocular spines are present in the Cobitoide's common ancestor, but have been lost in most loach families. Clown loaches possess a large elliptical frontoparietal fontanelle, or a large basin, on the top of the skull. Other Botiids have smaller ones. The supraethmoid, or butterfly-shaped bone near the nostrils, is wider than other Botia loaches. That's enough bony stuff. Any more and we'll have a bad time. Botia loaches, like the clown loach, possess 4 rostral barbels located at the tip of the fish's snout, 2 maxillary barbels located at the corner of their mouth, and 2 mandibular barbels located on the bottom of the fish's lower lip. These barbels are quite short, especially compared to those of catfishes, well developed. Like a catfish, the clown loach's barbels are richly supplied with nerve endings and taste buds to help find food to substrate the murky waters they inhabit. One of the clown loach's favorite foods is aquatic snails. Now you might be thinking, hey wait, loaches are Cypriniformes. Didn't you say in Adhesive Enigma that Cypriniformes don't have teeth in their mouths? How the heck would they be able to crush a snail? The simple answer is, they don't. Botia loaches have thick, fleshy lips in which they attach the snail shell's opening to suck out the soft flesh. Back to the loaches of the Cypriniformes thing, clown loaches have pharyngeal teeth on their lower gill arch. The loach obviously uses these to chew up the snail flesh. What's special about these pharyngeal teeth is that they can be used to produce an audible clicking sound, accompanied with rapidly opening and closing their mouth. Botia loaches click when they eat and or engage in territorial disputes between other fish. It's unknown how exactly Botiids click with their teeth, but redfin Botia, or Yasuhikotakia modesta, with their pharyngeal teeth experimentally held in place, are unable to produce the sound. Most Botia loaches have laterally compressed bodies with somewhat arched backs, rather like a slender carp caught in a hydraulic press. Their ventral side is relatively flat, like most benthic fishes, but extremely narrow, which is more akin to pelagic fishes. Clown loaches have higher, more arched backs than the other Botia loaches. The body shape also hints at the Botia's spatial position amongst the loaches, as the more derived loaches tend to stray far from a typical piscine shape. This shape is a compromise between open water swimming and slipping in and out of tangled driftwood and plant roots. Many Botia loaches are capable open water swimmers, and the clown loach is no exception. It needs to be, for it is a migratory fish. The clown loach also possesses a relatively long, deeply forked caudal fin, which is a trait typically found in powerful swimmers. The twin forks provide maximum thrust with as little surface area as possible. Water is a very difficult substance to move around in, and tail fins with a large surface area are harder to repeatedly move back and forth. Botia loaches have well-developed swim bladders, an anatomical feature lost in some other members of the Cobitidae. In the clown loach, the swim bladder's anterior chamber is covered partially by a bony capsule. The posterior chamber is larger and not covered in anything. This is the major difference from Botia loaches, which have the swim bladder's anterior chamber completely covered in bone. As stated earlier, clown loaches are very capable swimmers, a trait shared amongst most other Botia loaches. Swim bladders aid in the fish remaining buoyant during long periods of sustained swimming. The swim bladder, or at least the surrounding empty space, could also have an acoustic function. In the Kottelat at least, there are special channels that stretch laterally from the swim bladder to the outer body wall. These lateral trunk channels are filled with fat and lymph. They form a muscle-free acoustic window beneath the skin, which could be demonstrated by measuring the auditory bracing response at 400, 800, and 1500 Hz. The auditory capabilities of the clown loach itself have not been measured, but one can assume that it's similar across the subfamily. Clown loaches, as well as other Botia loaches, are social fishes. During the day, clown loaches spend their time hiding in whatever crevice they can find. At dusk, the fish become more active and begin their nightly hunt for sustenance. In the wild, clown loaches live in large shoals numbering in the hundreds. The fish follow and flank each other to reduce drag costs by moving through water. Their stripes help break up their outline when they're in a large shoal, confusing predators and reducing the likelihood of attacking. In captivity at least, a distinct pecking order forms between individuals. Typically, the largest and oldest fish is the highest ranking. Normally, clown loaches don't fight each other. On the rare occasion that they do, the parties change color to a grayish tone, a process dubbed graying out by aquarium hobbyists as the fish spread their fins. They sidle next to one another, attempting to appear as large as possible. The fish erect their spines and bash the flanks of the other fish with them. Occasionally, the fish may lock lips and push each other in a manner akin to that of cichlids. One strange habit of the clown loach is their tendency to rest on their sides, at least in aquaria. This is probably because they don't have a wide ventral surface to lay on, unlike other benthic fishes. This probably takes less energy than perching on their fins. It also looks funny, so you can make the connection to the common name. I hope. By now, you should know that clown loaches are preniform fishes in the family Botiidae. As I mentioned in the previous video, the preniform is made up of carps, minnows, loaches, and suckers. These fishes are very important as food and in the aquarium hobby. The preniform itself is usually split into two suborders, the Cobitidae and the Cypriniformes. Cypriniformes consist of carp and minnows, while Cobitidae are loaches, suckers, and Tyrannochilus. Those latter two families are disputed members of the group, but that was explained a bit in the adhesive enigma. Botiidae, and by extension a striped friend, are within the less controversial members of the group, collectively known as Loaches. Botiidae consists of 8 genera. In the botiine subfamily, there are the genera Amostia, Botia, Chromobotia, Botia, and Syncrosis, as well as Zootaxa. The Leptobotiine subfamily consists of Leptobotia and Parabotia. The main difference between the subfamilies is the chromosome count. Botiine fishes are tetraploid, while Leptobotiine fishes are diploid. Leptobotiine loaches also tend to be much more elongated in body shape than Botiine loaches. Lepto means thin in Greek. This explains a lot. The As mentioned earlier, Chromobotia macracantha is easily distinguished from other members of the family by its size and coloration. Within this family, Chromobotia macracantha is the sister genus, or most closely related to, Botia. Originally, the Botiidae was a subfamily within the true Loach family Cobitidae. Cobitidae loaches are typically long and eel-shaped, but share a benthic lifestyle, barbels, and suborbital spine with the Botiidae. The clown loach was initially placed in the genus Cobitidae by Bleecker when it was first discovered in 1852, a time of limited taxonomic knowledge. Oddly enough, the genus Botia already existed at that time, so placing the fish in Cobitidae initially was a strange decision. Communication at the time was archaic, so Mr. Bleecker probably didn't know the genus even existed. Botiidae was split from Cobitidae in 2002 by the French ichthyologist T.T. Naubant, who realized how morphologically distinct they are. Anyone with work in eye realizes this. In the article where he splits the Cobitidae, he argues that the Botiidae are the most basal family of loaches, which is true. In 2004, Maurice Kottelat picked holes in Naubant's paper while describing Botia kubotai. And by picking holes, I mean he tore the Frenchie a new one. Naubant apparently ignored many very important papers on loach phylogeny, like Sawada's 1982 classic, Phylogeny and Zoogeography of the superfamily Cobitidae, Cypriniformes. Sawada's paper is one of the first to truly define the modern loach groupings, and even made a note of the clown loach's distinctive traits. Ignoring that paper is kind of a broad moment, especially when you're trying to make sweeping claims about loaches. Naubant's identification keys are also a contradictory mess. I'm not going to go into that because that's just going to bloat the video even more. Hilariously, Naubant also uses zoogeography as a phylogenetic character. This is stupid because organisms can migrate and their surface has not always been the same. Zoogeography itself is derived from phylogenetic characters. Lastly, or at least the last point we're willing to cover, I think you get the point by now, he lumps Phylogentella with the Botias based off of flimsy evidence. These are clearly separate groups, and the criteria he did use did not contain synapomorphies or shared evolved features of a clade. This paper also erected new genus Chromobotia for the clown loach, or a subject for its size for the time being. Clown loach populations in Borneo and Sumatra are genetically distinct and can be distinguished by subtle differences in their color pattern. Bornean loaches have mostly black pelvic fins with red leading edges, while Sumatran loaches have entirely red pelvic fins. The last black stripe on Bornean loach is also extended to called a peduncle. When mature, this fish is also mildly sexually dimorphic. Males are slimmer and brighter in color than females, with males having more red on their fins. Males' caudal fin tips also curve inwards. The clown loach prefers riverine habitats. Since these are tropical fishes, seasonal variation is linked with precipitation rather than temperature. That means that there is a wet season and there is a dry season. The life of a clown loach starts in the wet season. Scores of adult fish move to fast flowing floodplain areas to release their gametes, or eggs and sperm. No other parental care is provided, which is typical of egg-gathering fishes. Unlike salmon, they are interoperous, so they can do this annually and not die. Clown loach eggs hatch in temperatures between 22 and 30 degrees Celsius, which is a narrow range for a warm water fish. These eggs have a very strong swelling tendency and hatch relatively quickly under laboratory conditions, or 20 hours at 26 degrees Celsius. The vulnerable larvae hopefully hatch amongst vegetation and are unable to eat until 96 hours after hatching. When the larvae grow in their yolk sac, they live off zooplankton until their mouths are large enough to consume the invertebrates that they will live off of for the remainder of their being. Very young larvae tear off chunks of their tiny prey, while older ones swallow their food whole. Strangely enough for a tropical fish, the larvae can go for a long time without food. Slembrouck et al. Hypothesizes that the relatively long time larvae spend drifting in the water column allows for fewer chances to find food. Larvae initially have 5 stripes, but their one migrates into the dorsal fin at an extremely young age, while the last stripe completely vanishes. Their mouths are also more terminally located as larvae, but quickly migrate under the snout at this fish's age. Juveniles live in large shoals in the floodplain areas until they're old enough to spawn. The floodplains typically have relatively high temperatures that are over 28 degrees Celsius and low pH around 4 to 6. Large stones drift void in depression, and the substrate provides shelter for these crepuscular fish. When the fish mature, they move into the main river channels to spawn, where water conditions are cooler and closer to neutral in pH. These fish occupy the niche of a medium-sized social insectivore, probably competing with the two syncrosis loaches which also live in Indonesia. From aquarium observations, syncrosis loaches are significantly more territorial behavior than the clown loach, so schooling is likely less important in syncrosis land. Besides diet and spawning habits, relatively little is known about these fish in the wild. Most knowledge of their behavior comes from reports from aquarists and the few attempts to breed them in captivity. Little data has been taken on population numbers for clown loaches. Despite its commercial importance, the IUCN has taken no data on this fish's conservation status. Catches have declined from the 20 million reported in 1997. Because of its striking coloration, the clown loach is extremely popular in aquaria, and millions of juveniles are taken out of rivers annually to feed this hungry trade. High foreign demand means that the native people of Borneo and Sumatra can stand to make a decent living from collecting these fish. Therefore, Indonesia has banned the exportation of any clown loaches larger than 6 inches long to protect viable broodstock. Clown loaches are fast-moving and nocturnal, so it's not like you can get a big seine and expect to capture millions of individuals. Natives of Indonesia use an ingenious method instead. They take a bamboo stick and cut holes in it. Clown loaches can't resist a good hiding place, so the unsuspecting loaches pile into the bamboo trap. The fishermen then sell their catch to middlemen. The bamboo capture method makes the size limit a non-issue, as most clown loaches offered for sale are around 2 inches, or 5 centimeters long. Bamboo poles aren't exactly spacious inside, which naturally limits the size of collected fish. From the little data recorded so far, catches of juvenile clown loaches have declined somewhat in recent years. Collectors have taken advantage of the extra propensity to float out to sea and started gathering eggs from farmers to grow out to a saleable size. Like any large fish in a less industrialized country, the clown loach also serves as a food fish. Yasuhikotakia modesta is a delicacy, so I'd imagine that clown loaches taste very similar. Since they make large migratory trips, they flood the local markets for a couple of days. Migration is very energy intensive, so the fish must pack on layers of fat before undergoing the massive trip. The popularity of the clown loach both in the aquarium and the food fish is led to studies of captive breeding programs. So far, these programs haven't made a noticeable impact on the price of the rarity of clown loach in aquarium stores or the food business. One program that actually has experienced some success is bioaquatics, which breeds for the aquarium trade. Bioaquatics triggers spawning by periodically changing the conditions from alkaline rapid simulation to acid, warm, floodflame mimicking conditions. Apparently, they don't use any hormones besides the ones the fish produce themselves. When the fish are ready, gametes are manually stripped from the broodstock, which is only half as romantic as what they do in the wild. It is a shortcut, but an effective one used to breed countless fish in aquaculture. Bioaquatics also use really small specimens as broodstock, hinting that clown loaches become sexually mature much earlier than initially believed. Artificially spawned loaches are significantly more expensive than wild caught ones. Clown loach is also apparently quite delicate until they reach a size of roughly 2 inches, which is the size that's most commonly collected in the aquarium trade. Because of this, it's just easier to import clown loaches in Western countries. Typically, large clown loaches that are over 6 inches long are collected from the wild and they spawn hormonally. This requires sourcing sexually maturing specimens, which may not be the easiest to come by. Other prospective breeders take wild fish and attempt to grow them out like one would do with farmed tuna. Sumatran fishes make for slightly better broodstock than Bornean fishes, as they produce more eggs according to a study conducted in Indonesia. The fish used in the study were kept in recirculating systems similar to other farmed fishes and fed liberally with earthworms. Ovaprim and human gonadotropic hormone injections made the fish actually lay eggs. As has been repeatedly stated earlier, clown loaches are prized aquarium specimens. Oftentimes they are recommended by pet store employees to rid a tank of a snail infestation. This they are highly efficient at taking care of. Unlike many other benthic fishes, clown loaches are often purchased for their appearance and not just to quote-unquote clean the bottom. However, pet stores don't often make it obvious that certain fishes have more advanced care requirements than what the average Joe might think, leave wonders by the fish section, money in hand. This includes the clown loach. Clown loaches are large schooling fish. Large tanks and multiple clown loaches are a requirement if the fish is to thrive. However, clown loaches are slightly more expensive than most other schooling fishes, so the value-minded amateur aquarist often buys just one and wonders why it looks sad and hides all day. Another thing clown loaches have a reputation for is ick susceptibility. Ick, short for Ichthyopteris multifilus, is a scourge of aquarists everywhere. A protozoan parasite, ick forms small cysts on the unlucky fish's skin and gills. These cysts look like white spots and can be fatal if not treated in time. Ick is more commonly caught in conditions that the fish find too low in temperature. Since clown loaches are often kept in inappropriate conditions, they tend to get stressed out. Stressed fish get sick more easily. Therefore, clown loaches seem to contract ick very quickly. Worse for clown loaches, their scales are tiny, so they're sensitive to most medications. This has led to the death in millions, citation needed, of clown loaches. This number is backed up by the fact that clown loaches have been in the hobby since at least 1937, which is comparable to the Carboniferous period hobby-wise. Another common practice is to keep clown loaches with African Rift Lake cichlids. The loach's orange and black coloration contrasts greatly with the blues and yellows of the cichlids. The loaches also can use their spines as weapons against cichlid attacks, so they can stay relatively safe from their aggressive onslaughts. Most Rift Lake cichlids prefer hard alkaline water. The clown loach typically prefers more neutral to acidic conditions, so the differences in ideal water quality for both types of fish may lead to stress for one or both parties. Even though it may work out for some people, it's best to keep your loach away from aggressive fishes just like African cichlids. Reading the clown loach in the aquarium is also extremely rare. So rare that when it does happen, most aquarists start looking for the signs of the apocalypse. No reliable accounts of them spawning in captivity without hormones exist. The one account that does seems to be a very elaborate fake. Clown loach eating other fish? Come on. Spawning this fish is thus the holy grail for many hobbyists, myself included. The one thing I can guarantee is that attempting to breed these striped beauties will require a lot of time, money, and space, even if you treat with hormones. So, this is a clown loach, a giant amongst its relatives and the Indonesian economy. They're funny to watch. Honk. Do you have any funny clown loach stories? Did I completely bungle something and you need to let me know? Just say so in the comments. I know every other YouTuber says this, but don't forget to like and subscribe, or else.